Right, the other type of graph we're going to look at then is a line graph. Now, a line graph is exactly what it sounds like. We use a line instead of a bar this time. And a line graph is for continuous. So if we're looking at something like the sales over a time, it continues straight from one day on to the next, doesn't have a wee gap in between. We can use a line graph. Line graph needs to have a few different things, very similar to a bar graph. We need to make sure we have a title for our line graph. We need a key if we have more than one line in our graph, and we need to make sure we have our axes labelled. Okay, so here we have the amount that it's worth. Here we have the month in the year 2004. And we're told that product X is blue, product Y is this orangey kind of colour, and product Z is the purple. Again, lots of different questions you can be asked. You can be asked just about one of the products. You can be asked about comparing products. The important thing again is, can we read the scale? Going up the side here, a funny scale, this one. This one goes from 0 to 13 to 26 to 39, so it's going up in 13,000s. Okay. You wouldn't get asked a lot of detailed questions about a graph like this because the scale isn't particularly easy to read, but you could get asked in general which product had the most sales throughout the year. Now, just by looking at the trend of the graph, we could definitely say that's product Y. You could see which product started the year well, went down and went back up again. It should be product X. You could also be asked to have a guess at what kind of product you think product X might be. It sells well in January, February, not so much from March onwards, and then starts selling again in October, November. I'm feeling that might be something along the lines of hats or gloves. Okay, right, let's look at one that we can do some comparisons with then. Okay, so here we've got car sales between Clark's and Gray's, and we're looking at the car sales for each year, no, each month. Okay, so if we take a month like, let's have a look at June. We could ask which car company sold the most in June. In June, Clark's is way down here, Gray's is way up here. So we would definitely say that Gray's sold more cars in June. We could be asked a more direct question. So we could be asked to actually compare the figures. So we could be asked something like, how many more cars were sold by Gray's in July than Clark's? And then we need to look at our scale again. Okay, so this time we're going up in fours. 0, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. Right, so we're looking at July. So in July, Clark's, right down here. So Clark's sold one car. And Gray's is up here. It's not quite halfway. So Gray's sold 5 cars. So Gray's sold 4 more cars in July. We could be asked just to focus on one of them. We could be asked something like, how many cars did Clark sell altogether in that 6-month period? Anything like that. But again, as long as you can read that scale, you'll be able to answer the questions on the line graph. Look at another one. Here we have a line graph of 2 cars making a journey. So the 2 cars are going from Glasgow to Carlisle. One went on the M74 and one went on the M77 and the A76. The first thing I want you to do here is add in a key. Have a look at the 2 graphs, decide which one you think went on the 74 and which one you think went on the 77 and then the A76. Okay, this is our speed limit here. So this person here went up to 40, 50, 60 and then stayed sort of between 60 and 70 for the majority of the journey. So that light blue one, if I can get a light blue colour, that kind of colour there, that would be the M74. the browny kind of colour would be the M77 and A76. Okay, let's see if we can answer some questions then about this one. Okay, so first question then, did the person travelling along the M74 break the speed limit at any point? If we look at here, it starts down here, there's our 70, which is a speed limit for the motorway, and at this time here, he broke the speed limit. So yes, he did. What time's that? There's 9:20, there's 9:40. So at 9:30, he broke the speed limit. Okay, let's say at 8:40, no, 8:50, how much faster was the person on the 74 travelling? So we're looking at 8:50, how much faster were they travelling? They were travelling at 40 miles an hour. They were travelling at 60 miles per hour. So at 8:50, it doesn't tell me whether it's AM or PM actually, I'm just assuming it's AM. Rid of that. So at 8:50, the person on the M74 is going 20 miles per hour faster. Same idea as before. As long as you can read the scales on the graph, you should be able to answer the questions about the graph. Okay, because you can then take the information that you need from the graph. One last question about this then. At what time were they travelling the same speed? Okay, so we're looking for a time where both graphs meet. So right at the end here, this one joins in with this one. So at 10 o'clock, they were both travelling the same speed. Yeah, I'll leave you to have a look at some line graphs then.